It's a clean show. Clean show. Open it up.
Open it up.
Welcome, everyone. This is Cold Ones Conversations, the best with the glass, the best sports content on the internet, the best thing that you could be looking for. I am one half of this dynamic duo. I go by many names, one of them being Hollywood Hair, the other one being Harry Heaps, my birth name, what's on the birth certificate. And I'm joined by the dynamic, the ultimate, the guy pouring that glass. Look at the head. Brendan, the bod, Petrilli. Trilly, how you doing today?
We're doing fabulous. If you're watching on the YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe button, put the bell on. But yeah, I mean, also just look at this beautiful.
Look at that cup.
You could be drinking out of this, watching all the
that.
Philly sports teams just win and win and win, and then
well, not all
lose
of
to the
them.
Jets. I was
Not
getting
all,
there, and then win and win and win. And you know what? And that you could also be rocking an amazing Fanatic hat like this, a tailgate hoodie with the Kelly Green. We got Kelly Green coming out Sunday Night Herald. You got the bottle opener with it. You got the
on the string
koozie in the pocket. I mean, there's nothing more you can ask for from PhillyDrinkers.com. Use my name at checkout. They're the best. We love them. Shout them out. Of course, no free shout outs. That's why we get the gear.
That's why we get the gear. Dude, that new trucker hat that we were texting about last night is tremendous. That new trucker hat, go check it out. Brand new product, Philly Drinkers, classic look, black in the back, white in the front, Philly Drinker right up top. I love it. It's a billfold. It's a trucker hat that truckers would use when they would go to, those weird stations where they might do something. You know what I mean? It's a nice hat. It's primo. But let's get into it. That's our sponsor.
Quality. The best quality out there. We love them.
If you're wearing it Harold, you're protected. You're protected.
It's the best because I just get to walk around and people compliment me left and right because all is great in the world of Philadelphia sports for the most part. Right now we're living. Everybody's giving me go Fightins, go Birds. The Flyers are starting up. They're above 500 probably for the only time this year. Hopefully,
yeah, correct.
Like at 2-1.
Yeah,
but we'll see where that goes. But before we dive into that, to all my great success, we got to talk a little bit about the O's here. I mean, our O's, your O's. I'm sorry.
We didn't get to put this to rest a little while.
Yeah, we got to lay him down. It was a great season.
We got to lay him down.
Yeah, we got to bury him 6 feet under.
Yeah,
to the 2023 season. I mean, number one in the AL.
Out of respect.
What was it out in left field? The bird pond was going nuts out there. I mean, the dong bongs flowing.
The dong bongs were ridiculous all season long. Now they were water. We don't drink and drive in Camden Yards. They were water. But yeah, dude, I mean,
to go out and get swept,
a bad day.
It's tough.
It's tough. I think it comes down to, dude, what we were talking about going into that first series was they had never seen the left section of Camden Yards filled. You know what I'm saying? Like, they had never seen crowds like that, man. And when you're talking about a group that's average age is 25 years old, I think that gets to them a little bit, man. You got a lot of guys who it's their rookie season. It's their sophomore season, mainly their rookie season. They're getting brought up from the minors, right? Guys straight out of college. You know what I'm saying? It stung deeply to not get one. Texas has got some energy with them. So let's go there. Oh, that will
use it against you.
They did. They used my ultimate weapon, Creed, my sacrifice, stand alone, higher. I mean, they took it. You know what I'm saying? Scott Strapp, they took it from me. I would have thought that Gunnar would have been rocking with that. He's a little young for it. I'm a little young for it. You know what I'm saying? But those Texas boys, they've been rocking and rolling. You know what I'm saying? With Creed since 99. Well, let's stick on the O's here for a minute. The point is, dude, yeah, it sucked, getting swept. There's no question about it. I've already said that ad nauseum, but it's true. I mean, when you win the AL and then when, you win the AL East and you win the AL, you get a plus 100 win regular season. You're like, holy crap, dude, we can't be stopped right now. This is awesome. And to not get one on the boards really did suck. It came down to, looking back at that series, we just didn't close, dude, on opportunities. I mean, game 2, I'm never going to be able to get it out of my head. Both at the bottom of the 4th and bottom of the 6th, we had runners on 2nd and 3rd with 2 outs. But that is when during the regular season, our bats would get hot. We close on an opportunity, get 1 home, if not 2. Striking out, not finding the ball, not fighting enough. I think the moment was I say this often. If you've been watching the show, act like you've been there before. The Orioles didn't know how to act like they've been there before. because some of these guys, again, dude, there's a guy on that team that's younger than me. I'm 23. There's a 22-year-old on that team, dude. Like, and he's arguably the best rookie in MLB. You know what I'm saying? Like, Gunnar is arguably the best rookie to play. So, I think that what it comes down to is, listen, dude, if we would have had a season like the Yankees, it still would have been a success. And where I'm going to leave it before we go into the Phils, because we got a lot to talk about with the Phils, and I wonder what you think about this. It is scary for every team in the AL East, and frankly, every team in the AL, to know we just basically guaranteed with this squad an 85-plus win regular season year in, year out. We just got it. All we have to do is add a third to our payroll, go get a pitcher, and watch what could happen. Watch what could happen, dude. You got one of the best head coaches in the game leading these young dudes. You got bats that never slow down. You got energy throughout in the tank. The only thing that you don't have is an ace. And you've got all these guys locked up on pennies on the dollar. That's a high school reference for the next 4 years. Things are looking good for the Baltimore Birds.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping that we invest some money.
I agree with you 100% there. Man. I mean, we kind of talked about it in the last episode. I mean, obviously, we've missed last week by accident and it happens, but we still put the picks out on Instagram and Twitter. Make sure you go follow us there. Also, it's in the description at Cold One Conversations. So make sure you go check it out there, where we put out the picks after the episodes. And if we don't get the episodes out, we're still putting them out. But anyway,
we're always putting something out.
But anyway, right? A couple things on the O's to wrap it up here. Yeah, we talked about it, right? They didn't know any better. They didn't know any better. You kind of need to know some things, right? Yeah. To win. Yeah, you're seeing it with the Phillies, and I'll get to that in a minute here. But for them to get that experience, this is what I was waiting and asking for from the Phillies in the 2015 to 2019, where they just stunk and just get in. I don't care if you lose. I don't care if you get beat, sweat, whatever. We just want that experience for our young guys to carry over. And then once we finally get there, we can make the run. They've been there before. They know it. And that's kind of what's happening here. Now it sucks that you had, maybe not in Baltimore, but maybe the national side of it, just because they were the number one seed, you kind of had more expectations. And, I kind of said to you a little bit, it would be a disappointment in my eyes if you lost the first place seed. It's not a disappointment that they lost in the first round so much, but when it comes down to it, this team, all they have to do now is take this whole year, encompass it all, and just move forward. My last point here is, they need one of these young guys, which I think they will, to be that stud. You can't have Santander leading you in home runs.
No.
You need Holiday's kid to come up, the shortstop. You need him to play. You need Rushman and Gunnar to hit some dingers, because that's the way the MLB has moved now. You can get guys on base, you can run, you can play defense. But these young guys, they need to put on muscle over the offseason, and they got to start hitting some freaking dingers. Because if they can do that, their team's going to be absolutely filthy. And you get one pitcher, you build that bullpen, but you can see it with the Phillies here. If you got an offense that is 7, 8, 9 deep, that can all leave the yard, solo shots, one at a time, shot after shot after shot, it's tough to compete with. It's tough. And I think the O's definitely got it moving forward. They got a nice 3-4 year window here with all these guys there that they can definitely compete with in the AL for a nice stretch of time here while these guys.
Dude, I love it. Hey, only thing better that you could have asked for, right, is a championship run. And I said it every week starting back in June, and this is where we'll close it with the O's. We're playing with house money. And I remember saying in June, I was like, Trilly, if we're still this good in August, I'm going to tell you that we're going to win the AL. And then we won the AL East, and then we won the AL. So you know what, dude? You're right. You got to get that experience. I love that kind of segue that you put of the 2015 to 2019 Phils, where you wanted them just to know what it was like to get to that moment. That's what the O's need. They haven't had a moment like that. Even when Buck was here in 2016, we really didn't have that moment, right? Because we had those guys. We had Jones, we had Davis, we had Machado, but we were just stacked on names and guys that a lot of times if they didn't throw it out of the park, they got out. They struck out. Whereas right now, we got this feeder, this young gun, this develop. But you're right, dude. You got to make the most of the opportunity while you're not paying people. Somebody's got to step up. I think that guy's going to be Rushman. I do. I think that he's the one that seems to have he's the most collected when he's at bat. Gunner is just, he's there, but he's a cap gun. He goes off sometimes he doesn't. Rushman's very keeled. And I think for him to take a big jump could occur. So yeah, dude, Orioles out. Roll Red October, dude. It's Red October. Kick us off, brother. Kick us off.
October. We're talking about the fightings now. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about the fightings. We're talking about the bank. Harry, we were talking before. Harry needs to get in the bank.
Hold it down.
You got to experience the bank. Because
bring me through that energy. Bring me through
it. Dude, it's just pure 9 innings of you don't sit. Baseball, you're used to lounging around. Sometimes you check the phone. Like
clapping.
I don't have my rally towel here, but it's rally towels in hand.
Yeah.
24/7. Yeah. You're not sitting. Every pitch is locked the frick in, and you are down. You give us any ammo like the Atlanta Braves did, like Merrill Kelly did last night. You give us anything that we're not that great, attaboy Harper, the fans aren't that loud. Our fans are good. Venezuela has the trumpets. You give us anything, we will come for your throat. I mean, we got people running out on the field after the win last night. You see that? And our security guards are out there looking like prime Brian Dawkins.
Yeah, they are.
And that's just from the sideline. Let alone you get Kyle Schwarber up there. First pitch of an at-bat. First pitch of a game. 420 deep right field. See you later. Up 1-0. And then the boys are buzzing, and you don't look back. We jump down your throat, and we just try to finish you.
You're making a lot of blowjob references here. I just got to put that out there. The blowjob references have been off the chain.
They're innuendos or whatever.
The innuendos. Yeah.
But dude, it's just so much fun. It's just pure excitement. You get to your seats and you look around at the 2 games I've been to in the playoffs so far. I got game 6 this series against the Diamondbacks. I'm going to be honest with you. We'll talk about it in a little bit. I'll give you a prediction. I don't see it getting that far, so I'm hoping I can roll that money into a World Series ticket. Stay tuned. But anyway, you get to your seats and, I'm with my buddies, and then you look around, the people in front of you, people behind you, and you look at them and you're like, we're locked in here, people. Right. We're gonna be best friends by the end of tonight.
Yeah, how many free high fives are you giving?
Every at bat, every strikeout, you're hugging. Yeah. Me and this one guy, this old man who's been sitting behind us the 2 games. I guess he got the same thing we did. He likes to be a troll like I like to be every once in a while. And he's one of those Debbie Downers about, this guy stinks, and then it just gets a little annoying. During mid-game, we're watching it. And then all of a sudden a big home run happens and he wants to high five you. I gave him a big old smooch right on his cheek.
You didn't, dog.
Oh yeah, we're kissing our boys. We're kissing our boys.
You're holding it down for the dogs. You're holding it down. We're kissing our boys. Philly drinkers. That's the next hat across the back. All right, keep it going, dog.
But that's just what it brings. Like, you are family by the 9th inning. We're singing Dancing on My Own. We're singing Harry Callis. We got high hopes after a dub because that's just what this team has. It's vibes, it's energy. Bryce Harper says it the best. And Garrett Stubbs, if you're not with us, get the fuck out. All right. Because that's just what it means within this city with this team. The team embodies the city so well. To get so close last year, that brought them even more together. The run that they've been on back-to-back years has just really just shown, and getting Trey Turner, having him struggle, the team and the city picks him up. Bryce Harper comes back from the UCL injury and just continues to dominate in big moments. Kyle Schwarber rakes. Nick Castellanos sucked last year, and now he's hitting back-to-back 2 home run games in the playoffs. First time that's ever happened in the history of the postseason. Nola Wheeler dominates. I mean, the bullpen is shaky at times, but then they get outs when they need it the most. This team is special. I'm pumped. I'm stoked, Steve. Fightins. It's great.
Out of respect for the 215, you heard. All right, so Trill, let me get a moment here. Let me ask you a few questions.
I'm just
Hey, and that was out of respect. That was for the family. That was for the city of Philadelphia, my second home. We hold it down for the dogs. It's Red October. You know what I'm saying? But the point is, now here's my first question: when are they bringing Meek out, and when are they bringing Uzi out? When are those guys coming out? Because they do the Eagles, but if the Phils are going to be there, dog, I think, and I'm going to say something. I don't think you do Meek.
no.
I don't think you do Meek for the Phils. I think you got to bring out Uzi, because he's more the young crowd, the young generation, as they may say.
Well, did you see? I mean, what's the guy's name? Calvin Scott, for the guy that sings "Dancing on My Own."
Yep.
He just hit 1 billion plays on Spotify.
I don't give a fuck about Calvin. I give a fuck about Little Uzi Vert.
No, he would be the guy that would come out, because that's been the song of the team for the past few years. Like they play it after every win, dude. Like if he comes out and he gives us that in the in the World Series, that place is burning down.
But who's singing? Okay, now here's my next question. We're going on some tangents here, but if you're a long time listener to the show, first time, long time, whatever, we love you.
We'll get to the NFL picks in a couple minutes. We got
in a couple minutes.
Out of respect for playoff baseball here.
Out of respect. So my question is, who sings the national anthem? Because I think you got to bring out Rocky Balboa. I think you got to have him on stage, singing that national anthem, having the cannons go off. Every service member, they get the close-up. They get the close-up of Bryce Harper. Adrian. You know what I'm saying? You see Bryce Harper do the crying move that fucking the head coach did. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's stay on task. I think it's really interesting, man, how your guys have a grittiness to them that, when you go back and you watched episodes of this MLB season, right? Of us talking for a long period, you didn't want to talk about Phils because they were in that slump, right? They were in that World Series slump. And they have not only shed that, dude, they've made it look like that it never even existed. They have such a fire in their belly. I think kind of the way that the Orioles did during the regular season, where they were just playing to have fun, but there's a grittiness behind, oh my God, why did I just blank on his name? Number 3.
Harper?
Behind Harper, going on Pat McAfee and giving that speech of a lifetime. You know what I'm saying? Letting everybody know in the city of Philadelphia to stand up. And then you got guys, who's your boy who was getting interviewed that said, where's the question in that? Who
Nick
was that?
Castellanos, he doesn't mess around, bro.
Castellanos, he doesn't. He holds it down for everybody, for the nations abroad. So I think, my whole thing to you, dude, is the two hottest teams in baseball right now are the Phils and it's the Rangers. My question to you is, how do you guys keep it contained? Because last year when you were hot, you couldn't get the job done, and you were hot. You were wiping people out off of the plate that you shouldn't have been, and you were taking them down left and right, led to a World Series run. You lost 4-1, but you still got there. How do you keep that contained now so it's not the same result? Because I think that we both know we're looking past Arizona at this point.
Well,
let's not talk. I mean, let's not go overboard.
Take care of business. But yeah,
take care of business.
That team, they're a good team. They're a scrappy team. They're like the O's, honestly. They got some young talent on that squad.
Arizona? Yeah.
But yeah.
Yes.
They just don't have that superstar yet that is going to take them over the top. They don't have that Bryce Harper that's going to stare you down. And you say, all right, you're going to talk smack to me. I'm going to come back and I'm going to hit 2 dingers right in your face and stare you down rounding second base.
Out of respect.
That picture, Harry, that picture is going down. It's on shirts already. I mean, we got to tell Philly drinkers, we got to get on that. We should have been on that right away. That's gonna be the
shirt. That's gonna be the picture of the series. Like when it goes down that the Philadelphia Phillies won the 2023 World Series, that will be the shot.
Yeah,
well, I mean, dude, I think that it's the reason why I'm not saying this to fade you, but because I will say Texas got that heat. They got Scott Strapp behind him. Mind you, Scott Strapp is coming out of retirement. All of Creed's coming out of retirement.
I got your answer to your statement.
Go ahead.
I mean,
go ahead.
It wasn't beginning of the year, right? It wasn't. I didn't want to talk about the Phillies. It's just you knew it's such a long season, and you knew that this team had this in them. That's why the fans and everybody was so frustrated, is that this team has this pitching, this hitting, bullpen and starting pitching, back end, guys on the bench. They had this in them all year. And that's why it was so frustrating. They won 90 games. You could win divisions in the baseball, but they were the first wild card. You knew they had this in them. And it's because the reason they can beat these teams now, and why you weren't able to finish the job last year against Houston, it's the bullpen. You have Craig Kimbrell coming in with an electric flashing lights and everything. Welcome to the jungle. The bank's rocking when he comes in. My boy Hefty Lefty throwing absolute gas, punching guys out left and right. You got Soto, Hoffman, that me and my uncle go back and forth all the time about, but they're both really good pitchers. Sir Anthony's been struggling a little bit. Matt Strahm has been great when he's had to do it. I mean, Suarez, he's been great as your number 3 option. You just have more depth in pitching this year, when last year it was Sir Anthony and Jose Alvarado. Those were your 2 only guys, and they got burnt out. And that's why Yordan Alvarez was able to rake against Jose come game 3, 4, 5 in the World Series last year. Now you've been able to conserve these guys, stretch them out, and you have multiple weapons throwing 98 plus to come in and get guys out. You have Wheeler healthy. You have Nola locked in. The movement on Nola's pitches yesterday were filthy, man. He was freezing guys. They would give up. Righties would give up on that 2-seamer that would just come back over the plate. And they were just like, all right, if it's a strike, it's a strike. And you were just getting that punch out all night long. That's the difference in this team, is that deepness in the bullpen. We're going to have to see who the 4th starter is in this series, but if it's Sanchez, if it's Walker, Lorenzen, I have confidence in all those guys that they can go get me 4 innings and the bats will pick them up, because this lineup has gotten way deeper with Trey Turner inserted at the number 2 spot now, where, you can move Bohm to the 4. You got Stott and Bohm, who are just young guys that are studs for years to come. I mean, these guys are fantastic in the middle of this order to fill out around the superstars and Harper, Schwarber, Castellanos. I mean, that's why this team is great. That's why this team is going to get it done.
Phillies. We run Red October. When one of Trilly and I's dogs go down, we hold it down for the other, with the goal obviously being that the cities will meet in one day, the Super Bowl or the World Series. Trilly, let's end it off. Let's talk some NFL.
Well, before that, stay tuned. Go follow the Instagram and Twitter. We're going to be posting, and us.
We're getting those followers, babe.
Link
those
in the
followers on the Instagram have been going up, dude.
Exactly. So make sure you're a part of it. Subscribe to the channel. We're going to be putting out, Harold will be coming up for hopefully a couple World Series games here in the near distant future. So you want to meet up with us, hang out. Let's have some fun with it. Red October. Let's go.
If we can get, we're at 80 followers right now, low, but decent. 80 followers right now on the Instagram. We want more. We need more shares. We need more likes. If we can get 250 by the beginning of the World Series, Trilly and I will do a porn and we will post it on the Instagram. I swear to God. All right. Let's do some recaps, dude. These past couple weeks, we've been talking such heavy Raven, such heavy Eagle, sometimes some Baltimore Birds, and sometimes some Philly Reds. We got to do some recap here, dude. We got to get back to our bread and butter. We got to get back to the analysis. People don't
before we get to the picks, of course, because you know what? I mean, I was 6-1 2 weeks ago, 4-3 last week. We're rocking and rolling here.
You were 4-3 last week?
Yeah.
Oh, because you got that
Jacksonville,
because you got that Jacksonville bet in. I saved your ass. We won't talk about it. Okay. No, and the point is we'll update the percentages going into week 8 after week 7. Just know that we're always hitting above 50%. We deliver you wins, we deliver you money. We don't talk about the losses.
The fightings too, baby. The system bet has been absolutely insane. You got to bet it $5, easy $5 every game. Harper, Schwarber, dingers, Phillies either money line or run line. You get the boosted odd on whatever sports book you get to, the 33%. $5 and you normally gets you around $200. It's hit the other game. We're up big. We're up 170 on the playoffs. We're rocking. We're rolling. Let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, remember, this is a blue-collar show. So when we talk about $200, we know that you're driving that Ford F-150.
Hey,
you don't got good gas.
That's gas and grocery right there for the week.
Gas, grocery, and a couple cups of coffee. I mean,
if you want to up it, go ahead. I'm not going to try to tell you to mortgage your future away. That's all I'm saying. You put $5 down. We were down 30. All of a sudden, bang, dinger, dinger.
That's how it goes.
Win. We're up 170, and that's how the system works. The system
play.
I'm
down to talk baseball all night, but ladies and gents, we got to get into a recap of week 6.
Yes, of course.
Let's talk about
a crazy week. It was underdogs all over the place, man.
It was underdogs all over the place. But dude, I want to start out with a team here that we're going to be talking about a little bit later in the show because they're playing my Ravens this Sunday. Going to be probably one of the most electric games in Baltimore. Finally, my Birds are back in the city instead of on the road or over across the pond. I want to get a sense of here, dude. Are the Lions a real threat in the NFC? I mean, dude, they are 5-1 right now.
They're a good team.
2 weeks ago, they had a 9.5-point spread. And you and I were talking about when did they ever get above 3 points? How are they almost getting a double digit? And not only did they cover that game, they doubled it. And then they go against Tampa Bay, who I took to take the 3, and they stomp them out, dude. Now, I am going to hold this later for the show. I don't think that the Lions have faced yet a defense as good as Baltimore's. They haven't faced a defense like Baltimore. They haven't faced a defense like the Eagles. They haven't faced a defense like the 49ers. They haven't faced a defense like, when healthy, like the Patriots. But at the end of the day, dude, God, can these kids score? And they can keep points off the board to more extent than they could last week. They got grit through and through in them, dude. Where do we see the Lions fall? I mean, are they building on a foundation where they're going to ask Jared Goff to sign another 3 to 4 year contract, dude? I mean, I was saying that last year. I think it's kind of getting solidified here, dude. And the last point that I'll make, man, with this, we said it in the preseason. This was the Lions' division to lose. And with this decline, dude, of the Vikings, I'm telling you right now, man, it might be their division to lose for the next 2 or 3 years. Yeah. I'm not trying to get ahead of myself, but the Lions are 5-1. We got to talk about that, dude.
No, it's crazy. Huge. I mean, Randy would love to tell you it's his Lions, but he jumped ship on Minnesota all the time.
On Minnesota, yeah.
Come on, Randall. Yeah. But anyway, they got talent all over the place. Their running backs have been banged up, and they've had to be asking more of Jared Goff, and he's delivered.
Yep.
I mean, the guy has. You finally get your guy back from Benton. He's been listening to Cold One conversations a little bit too much, I guess. And Jamison Williams, you got him back. He gets a touchdown last week. I tried picking him up in every fantasy league. He's only going to get more and more involved in this offense. Amon-Ra St. Brown's a stud. Sam Laporta was all over Sam Laporta this year in fantasy. The guy is just an absolute safety blanket and just dominates. Another Iowa tight end that comes into the league and makes a difference. I mean, their O-line's great. D-line is still, it's young, it's developing, but that team has an attitude of their head coach, and they've been able to shed that meatheadness on the offense where they can really stretch you out and run all day because, that Tampa Bay game, it really should have been a 17-20 game. But their defense was able to come up and make some plays where they haven't been in the past, right? Last year and the beginning of this year. And they really put their foot down and said, hey, this is our team. We're not gonna settle for anything less than almost perfection. And that's tough with the young squad that they have, but it comes from the head coach down, and they're making big moves here. Now we'll get to it in a little bit, but they're going to have a tough defense coming up, and it'll be interesting to see what this offense can do.
Dude, I love that. I think I want to touch on another team real quick. In division game that opened up a week ago from tomorrow. Thursday night football, primetime, Denver at Kansas City, in division game for the AFC West. 19-8 final. KC wins. I want to go out on a limb here and make a statement. Kansas City's back. They're fully back. They're number one. They're there. They're number one. But their greatest strength is also their greatest weakness, dude. The amount of
That
picks
took
that
some
this dude
balls
is.
to say that. I'm sorry. That Kansas City's back.
Oh,
That
dude,
takes big balls to say that.
I know, dude, and it's scary. It's because
No, they're the Super Bowl champs. What are you talking about?
dude, the way that they were falling off looked like that they were
They
dead
weren't
at the
falling
wheel.
off. Get
They
out of
were.
here. Get out of here.
I was big on them falling off. I was big on the Ravens taking over, and now they're
Uh,
crushing my dreams, dog.
All right, go
But
ahead. Finish your point.
well,
Sorry.
dude, their biggest strength seems to be their biggest weakness, dude. I mean, Patrick sometimes is taking risks that he knows his offense or that his offense, if his defense can't bail him out, he knows that his offense will get another shot and be able to bail him out. But dude, you're not going to be able to do that if you're facing some other big rivals in either the AFC before you even get to the NFC, dude. I mean, the loosey-goosiness plays. Listen, they came out with the win. They are winning. But you can't tell me that the way that he played against the Jets and now the way that he played against Denver, when you get into week 14, week 15, week 16, week 17, and then opening in the playoffs, dude, you can't take risks like that because there are other teams that can score as quickly as you. It's not just them anymore who had the Tyreek Hill for years that give them 90 seconds and they can score. Give them Travis Kelce and they can score. Give them anybody and they can score. Isaiah Pacheco, Juju Smith, they made look like a Swiss Army knife last year. That's not the case anymore, dude. You got teams like the Lions that can score like that at any point. You got teams like the 49ers, the Eagles that can score like that at any point. Now, and to top it all off, I'm forgetting the biggest name out of all of them. The team that is showing that they can outscore anybody on the field is arguably going to be the biggest threat right now in the AFC, and that's Miami, dude. Week after week, dude, they're putting up plus 25-point games. So where I'm going with this is no. Do I think that Kansas City is in any danger of not making a long playoff stretch? No, I don't. But there's a difference in the way that Patrick is turning the ball over compared, in my opinion, to years past. He's pulling a Josh Allen, just not fumbling. He's just throwing it to people.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing is that he keeps losing weapons each and every year, the past 3 years, right?
Right.
They keep just letting guys go. And I think to them, they're 5-1. They're just gonna just keep feeling it out, figure things out, and then we're gonna be able to figure it out the last 3 weeks of the season, roll into the playoffs. And the reason they can do that is because of their defense. I think this is the best defensive team that they've had in the, Patrick Mahomes' career.
In the past 5 years?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
this is the deepest, most talented
Without a
defense
doubt,
that he has had. And that's because they've let wide receivers go. They don't have to pay offensive weapons because Pat can make up for it. Travis Kelce can make up for it. Andy Reid can make up for it.
Isaiah Pacheco.
But
he's the real deal, dude.
He's good.
Deal.
He's good.
He's Rutgers through and through.
But yeah,
Jersey.
hold it down. But he's not a superstar though. He's a star, but not a superstar. But the reason they can do that is because they have a defense like this. Now, yeah, I agree with you. Can Miami do this? Can these teams score? But when we've seen time and time again, defenses win. We saw it this week. The Browns defense shuts down this high-powered, San Francisco defense we'll get to.
Yep.
The Jets defense shuts down, a high-powered Eagles. The Buffalo Bills shut down that Miami. 20 points. I mean, it's still a decent amount, but, they dominated them.
No, they did.
So having a defense finally to go along with Patrick, it's a huge thing that it's going to show come to the playoffs again. If they can just get another first-round bye, find their way. I do agree with you where that he is taking more chances. I think that's because of the newer scheme, because Bieniemy left. You lost your offensive coordinator. And they're figuring it out, and the new weapons. The Chiefs will be fine. You think I don't want to say they're dead? I want to say they're dead. Screw them. But they're not. They're great, and it stinks to say that.
No, and I don't think that they're dead, and I remember 2 weeks ago saying I thought that this season was going to be like those end years of Brady in New England, where he might have had one guy outside of Gronk, and it didn't matter because they could go 10-6 during that time before they added obviously the extra game. And it didn't matter because once they got to the playoffs, all bets are off. This team is making an AFC run, if not a Super Bowl run. And I thought that that's what was going to happen with this Kansas City team. But clearly it's not, because as you said, they're 5-1, they're winning. I just will say, I do believe that there are certain components of the AFC right now that are different than in years past. And there is without a doubt, no question that there are another two teams just as good as them in the NFC. We've kind of never had that before. When you really look at football, since you and I have been watching it so closely, think about the AFC's history. There was always New England, and then there was Indianapolis. And those were your two guys, right? And then through the NFC, it was kind of this gauntlet. The Seattle showed that they had this stride for a little while. San Francisco going to that one Super Bowl, right? Then the Eagles take over. They win in that 2017 Super Bowl. They go on, they make it to another one years later. But right now, dude, there's a lot of diversity in the NFL about who true power is really going to. The Eagles are a Super Bowl ready to win team. The 49ers are a Super Bowl ready to win team. Kansas City is a Super Bowl ready win team. And then there are these outliers that aren't just can they get good? It's like, holy shit, they are good. Like Miami right now is a holy shit, they are good team. And the stuff that was coming out during the preseason about them did not make them look that way. Baltimore, I want to say if we can finally get it together with our offensive line, could be that way.
Well, I was going to say Baltimore. Yeah.
There is no doubt in my mind that if Burrow was healthy, they would have been the fourth team that I said automatically. Right? So there's these guys that sooner or later, I think that those risks are going to catch up to them. And as you said, if you continue to lose pieces, it's going to get to you. It's not going to be this year. This year, they're going to be competing for a Super Bowl. But I don't know right now with the way that stuff's going, unless they find new bankroll or Patrick takes another cut and you're able to add people, I don't know as you get deeper and deeper into that contract if they're going to be in that same type of conversation. Because you got guys like Hurts who are younger, have taken a smaller contract. Purdy's going to get a smaller contract, right? You got guys like Burrow who ended up taking a team-friendly deal. Tua is going to get a contract at some point or another. I know I'm looking far into the future and I'm projecting a lot, but these are real deal things, dude. We got a lot of really good quarterbacks right now in the NFL. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, no, it's definitely, you have that next wave, and there's still some guys that you thought can be that, and they're struggling.
Yep.
And I think the next game I kind of want to go to is the Joe Burrow's Bengals. Not that they're struggling, but for them to come out, yeah, for them to come out the first two drives, put up some points, or first drive and then second drive or third drive to put out some points, and then to go dead silent almost the rest of the game is insane.
Yeah. Insane.
Like it's wild that this team, you see flashes of it, and Joe looks to be a lot more healthy than he was to start the year with that calf problem. But then, Jamar goes out, big game last week. 80 yards this week, still really good, but that's not always open. Boyd and Higgins have been banged up. What do they have really other than that? Joe Mixon really has been a non-factor on that offense. So what's going on with this Bengals team? Because they're finally scratched and clawed and got back to 3-3 here and can be a real competitor moving forward, but they need to start figuring out an identity for this offense and really moving, because 17 points and a win is great. But for what this team is expected to do on offense, I don't know about that.
I couldn't agree more, man. And I'm going to keep it real. I'm not going to go off the reservation. They're clearly in this position because of injuries. I'm not going to act like that the Bengals have fallen off by any means, or that they don't have amazing talent, or that Joe Burrow is not a top 3 quarterback in the NFL. they are in the position that they are in, sitting at 3-3. They are not right now at the top of the AFC North. They are not the second best team in the overall AFC, only due to injuries. That's it. It's not due to play design. It's not due to not being ready for moments. It's not due to schematics. It's due to our guys have been hurt, and that sucks. Now, I will say the only team that has figured them out offensively really, really well, though they were able to score, were the Ravens. The Ravens figured out the Bengals quickly and to the point where they couldn't outscore them. And we walked out of Cincinnati with a W. And I'm hoping that we can get, the next one, which is in week 12, 13. It's a Thursday night game. I think I'm going to that game. I'm hoping that we can get that one in Baltimore.
It's on my birthday, bro. It's on the 16th.
It's on the 16th. You want to go to that game?
Kinda.
I'll buy, dude, if you want to go to that game, I'll buy tickets tonight with you. Stay tuned to find out if we're ended up going to that game. That's prime time. You can sleep at my house. Point is, we don't share location. We don't tell people where we're at.
Hey, I want happy birthdays in the chat on the 16th, by the way.
Oh, out of respect. But what I kind of want to see out of the Bengals now is how are they going to recover here, right? Because you said you're making a good point. They're at 3-3. They could be dangerous, but let's look at what they've got coming up this season because they kind of got a gauntlet, dude. The next 4 weeks, 5 weeks are no joke games, dude.
Yeah, 6.
You got the 49ers. Then you got at the 49ers, then at home for the Bills. You got a kind of a wash game with Texas on the 12th.
I like the Texans, baby. We've been talking about them. Well, I kind of want to talk about them in a minute here, but I like the Texans.
I love that point. And then you're coming off of a short week. You're only getting 4 days off, and you're playing Thursday night football at the Ravens and then back home with Pittsburgh.
They got at Jacksonville.
And then you're right, and you can't sleep on Jacksonville. And honestly, dude, when Anthony Richards is healthy, he looks like he's done for the rest of the season. Unfortunately, the Colts have shown Spurs that, dude, they can compete right now.
And then Kansas City week 16.
This is a hard, like they've got a hard, like how we had a very hard first 6 weeks. We really did, especially travel wise. The Ravens did. The Bengals are now getting that in that middle part of the season. I think it's going to be hard to overcome. They're starting kind of on the back burner, which they haven't had to do before. And I'll tell you, man, with the way that Mike Tomlin can make shit happen, with the way that Lamar played against them at their house and Harbaugh figured them out, you can never discount. I mean, I would count the 49ers game as a loss. Automatic, like right now. I'm saying the 49ers are coming off of a loss.
They're banged up. They're banged up, though. We'll see who all plays, but.
My point is that right now, I think that the Bengals are going to be lucky to get 11.
Yeah.
They're going to be lucky to get 11. They could scheme their way into a wild card, but we'll find out, dude. Hit us with the Texans, dude, because then I got one more team to talk about before we talk Eagles and Ravens. Then we'll do picks.
Dude, the Texans took down your Saints. I told you wanted to throw them in the HTP. I was just like, the Texans are feisty. I forget what the line was, maybe 2 or something.
It was a 2.5, wasn't it? Yeah, it was 2.5. Yeah. No, it wasn't a pick 'em. It was 2.5. Yeah, you're right.
And I was just like, I like the Texans here. They'll keep it close, maybe outright win this game.
I agree.
They got young guys all over. CJ Stroud finally throws his first interception of the year, so he's a legit quarterback now. Couldn't take him seriously before he threw an interception, but
out of respect
for them to come out, they aren't really able to get Dameon Pierce going like they were last year, running the ball. But having Nico Collins, I mean, Tank Dell's hurt right now. Have John Mechie, to have Robert Woods, who's the Dalton Schultz. They got weapons all over for CJ Stroud this year. They set this rookie up well to have absolute talent all over the place, get the ball out quick, maybe take a deep shot here and there and let your guys go make a play. And their defense is solid. They have young guys all over after drafting the past couple of years. Will Anderson's the real deal, and you have a defensive-minded coach surrounded this young team that has just built in, a culture of, hey, we're going to grind. We're not going to be the best team this year, but we're going to work harder. than every team this year. We're going to know our stuff more than every team this year. And that's why they're 3-3. I mean, for this Texans team, 3-3 is light years beyond what they've been the past 5.
Oh my God.
Since Deshaun, prime Deshaun, and, Matt Schaub even, and Andre Johnson. So, like, for this team to have such a great outlook on this, I was kind of texting with Harry about it. They're kind of like a Detroit team last year.
Thank you.
For me.
Thank you. Yes.
Like, they're this young up-and-coming team that just needs to start building together some tough wins, some tough losses, and get it together as a squad to be like, hey, we were here last year. Maybe it's not our year this year, but for next year, we're going to learn from all these things. We're going to put it in the back of our mind, and we're going to be better for it in the next 3-4 years, because that's what they've kind of built there. And I love D'Amico Ryan. Shout out, great former Eagles linebacker, but they got a really good
shout out D'Amico.
Squad. And they do. I'll let you go there, and then we gotta talk about the other side of this.
No, I mean, yeah, we do. And I'm gonna start that because I'm not letting you put your fucking sanitation all over it. I think that it also comes down to, dude, you really didn't mention this, but this is kind of the icing on the top. They've also been finding ways besides that coaching staff being tremendous and having grit, obviously running through their veins. They know how to protect Stroud. And you saw it week 1, dude, against the Ravens. I remember watching that game. I'm texting you. I'm screaming at the TV because our defensive line could not touch this kid. I remember in the fourth quarter, I think that there was 6 minutes left. There were a couple penalties, but he threw 3 deep and out towards the right side of the sideline, looking for this one receiver. I forget who he had running. He was on 30 yards out from the touchdown, and he couldn't get it to him. But the point being is, dude, every time he had so much time to throw the ball. It was crazy. And dude, like I said in that video about Kenny Pickett, when your quarterback has time to throw, you can look like you're top 10. And I will also say Stroud, without a doubt, looks like the best quarterback out of this class. There's no question about it. He does, dude. He does.
He does, but he's surrounded by a lot more than the other QBs.
Without a doubt. He's not. I mean, to compare him to what Carolina's got, absolutely, there's a massive difference.
But no, just the way that they've been able to build a playbook around him, where you listen to PMT. We love PMT on the show. AWLs for life, but where they have
hold it down.
They won't run a play that CJ Stroud does not like. They give it to him. They say, give us what you like. We'll run it in practice, and we'll go from this playbook to here. And we will run the 50, whatever plays, whatever you like. We will run those plays. And there's nothing that CJ does not like out in that field on Sunday that they won't run. Where I feel like that's not a big thing in other situations for a lot of other quarterbacks. It's whatever the offensive coordinator wants, and it's his system. Kind of seen it with the Eagles a little bit, honestly, in my mind. But we'll get to them in a minute. A lot of guys get egotistical. They have built around this quarterback where a lot of other young quarterbacks aren't being built around that way. And you're seeing it develop and blossom into a really solid relationship moving forward for him.
I think that where we'll end it with the Texans talk is, dude, we've also seen that this season, Trevor Lawrence is having to bail those Jags out a little bit too much than I think fans would like. There are some chinks in that Dougie P armor right now. And if the Texans can get their stuff going, I'm not taking anything away from Trevor. I think he's a winner, and I think he's partnered with the best coach he's got. I think that they're going to be a top 5 team in the AFC for years to come.
If they can compete for that division before, that's a huge win for the Texans.
That's what I'm saying. And I think that clearly we're seeing that right now. The Texans are emerging as the team that everyone forgot about that is now on everybody's mind. And to your point, to kind of round it out full circle, same way with the Lions. That was the exact same way that the Lions went. People forgot all about Detroit. It was an automatic check mark when people saw them. You didn't even want to watch it against Green Bay. You were just worried about him watching Aaron say, I own you to Chicago. And sometimes Kirk Cousins versus him didn't even matter. And for that Detroit team, I think that last win, it's going to be interesting. What's going to be Texas' defining moment? Because I think for Detroit, what it was Aaron's last game as a Packer. It was not playing for anything except keeping the Packers out of the playoffs. Mm-hmm. And I think that moment is kind of defined what they've gone into this season. We're 5-1 now. It's going to be interesting. The Texans get a moment like that. Is Trevor Lawrence going to need that moment? And he's coming down to playing him.
I mean, we're talking about the best quarterback in that draft. You're going to have the bowl of the best quarterback of the draft. We'll get to our picks in a little bit following up later in this episode, but you got Carolina Texans next week.
It's a good game.
Great game. And then you go Tampa Bay.
A lot of mistakes are going to happen in that game, though. A lot of mistakes.
Well, and then here's the rest of their schedule. Tampa Bay, they can fight there.
That's
the Bengals, from us talking, I kind of like the Bengals there. Arizona, Jacksonville, Denver, Jets. We'll see if Aaron's back. We'll talk about him. We love talking about him. Tennessee, Cleveland, Tennessee, Colts. That's a very doable schedule. You can finish above 500 with that schedule.
Big time you can finish above 500. You get 9 wins there.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. I don't think that you're a double-digit team win yet.
But you can get 9.
And you can keep it close. I'll say something else. Way the Bengals are playing right now, if they don't get these injuries under control, that could be a field goal game. And who knows what's going to happen? I mean, I think that Dougie P takes the wins. I'm going to say that I think he has a better understanding of his division. And I think that Stroud is just going to need a little bit more time. You got, a head coach in his first year or two who's got to figure his shit out. But yeah, dude, great team. All right, let's talk about NOLA.
Yeah, we're a pro Texans podcast here. If you haven't,
we're a pro Texans pod. Hey,
well, and then somebody that was a pro Saints podcast here.
I still am.
You still are. This team's garbage. I was telling you all year before it. They're gonna win 14 games, number 1 seed. This team stinks. They outright stink. Yeah. Derek Carr stinks. They can't get the ball to Chris Olave to save their freaking lives. Like, their defense is meh. They have this talent all over the place, and they just can't figure it out. Now, I'll give Carr a little bit of a break. He got absolutely sandwiched on his shoulder, and he's been banged up. Put Jameis in there. Let Jameis cook, at least for a week or two. This is ridiculous. It's ugly. Their head coach stinks. Ever since Sean Payton left, they haven't been able to find that offense again when they have weapons all over the place.
Please don't bring Sean Payton into this when we've seen his performance in Denver.
Back then, Sean Payton and Drew Brees were lighting the world on fire.
Okay, but that's because they had the ultimate head general, and they had a guy who could stand next to Jesus playing at quarterback. You know what I'm saying? So, please.
Well, Derek Carr is a big religious guy. Can he not stand next to Jesus? Or
he's got to get a few more wins before that. So here's what I'm going to say about my Saints. They've been a toss-up team. They've been a toss-up team. I think that what's horrible is that they clearly, I was wrong about them being the number 1 seed in the NFC. And then finally, the thing I was most wrong about is they don't, it's not clear that they're going to win the NFC South. That isn't clear. And that's not good because you really thought, and the way I think that you kind of form that argument is Kamara looks fed up. Kamara looks fed up. When they show him on the sidelines and they get a 3 and out and they're not putting points on the board and they're losing, he looks pissed.
You got Jameis Winston trying to hype him up on the sideline. That's how bad it is. The great leader, Jameis Winston.
Did you see that video? Did you see that video? He's like, come on,
he was just like, what are you saying?
Yeah. He's like, shut your fucking mouth, dog. You're not even playing.
Whoa.
First one of the episode, God, moment of silence. And we're back.
But anyway, keep it rolling on the Saints.
I don't know.
Why don't they get Chris Olave the ball, bro? Why this kid is a stud. Just throw it up to him. Stop with the slant god. Stop with Taysom Hill. Even though I do kind of like Taysom every once in a while.
Taysom is a badass.
Yeah, but get that ball to Chris Olave, man. Get it in his hands. He should be having close to 100-yard games every single time, man. It's crazy to me that they don't throw him the ball more.
I think that what it comes down to is what you opened this segment in. If talking about the Saints, dude, you got to get the head coach out of there. They do not have a true coaching staff right now. And I will say, Carr needs a coach. Carr is not a quarterback that can go out there and just make it happen. He doesn't have that back. He doesn't have. Can he get in the NFL these days? You know what I'm saying? I don't know who he needs. Maybe he needs Peyton Manning. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he needs Eli to get down there. I don't know, dog. I think that it just comes down to, dude, the Saints have a lot. They got way too many weapons to be this bad. And I think that's where we can agree. They got way too many weapons to be this bad.
Way too many. And
no question about it.
It's gross because honestly, I wasn't hating your take that much because you could see the potential on this team with a new quarterback coming in there. And I do like Carr, but yeah, it's the coaching staff that has just really drug them down. Huge. The way that you see it in Chicago even, and in all Atlanta, and maybe not Atlanta because the quarterback's not that great.
Ugh, disgusting.
Coaching staffs can really bring a team down.
Absolutely.
Philadelphia, maybe even play calling, just figure out ways to get. Figure out. People are saying it around here. Figure out ways to get your star players the ball.
You guys are figuring it out. You're in a slump. You went to a Super Bowl. You don't have. I mean, wait a second. We're not talking about Eagles yet, but you can't. Okay, listen. You can't expect. Here's all I'm going to say because I do want to talk about Miami, and I think that this is a good correlation to defend Hurts. One of the reasons why Miami is so good right now is because this is the second year in Tua's career where he's had the same offensive coordinator ever. Hurts,
and you saw that with Jalen last year,
correct?
And now he's got a new one.
So, of course, Eagles fans, you got to understand, you got a top 5 quarterback. Of course, he's going to regress when you see what the Colts are doing, dude. Even with injury, they'll put up 20 points. They got a real deal offensive head coach there who started in your organization.
Yeah, Shane Steichen's the real deal, bro.
You got to understand there's going to be a setback. That doesn't mean that you sell the farm. I do think that
nobody's selling the farm on Jalen. They want a new coordinator. Brian, we're not even with this. This is supposed to be a roast of the Saints here. What are we doing?
Okay. Yeah. What are we doing? I'm done with the Saints. I want to talk about Miami.
All right. That's fine.
Because they are
Saints stink.
It's fair to say, shut your mouth. It's fair to say, dude, they are the hottest team in the NFL right now. I mean, let's just look at this schedule real quick. Let's break it down. Chargers, week 1 on the road, LA. They win that 36-34 in a tight game. Then they win against the Patriots 24-17. Tua finally gets over his hump from the Bill Belichick curse. They win Denver with that incredible groundbreaking scoring game in 70-20. Bills, they lose it on the road 48-20. Jackie McLaughlin said he would rather get it done on the road early than late. I respect that take. They beat a bad Giants team 31-16, and they beat a bad Panthers team 42-21. I know that this is probably going to be part of your bet, so maybe it's going to be hard for you to talk about. Maybe you just want me to talk about Miami here, but here I'm going to make 2 points that I think that you can agree on without flaming your Eagles. Tua right now, number one, this year is a contract year for him. He is competing for a contract. He's been injured. He's had not good seasons. If he can win 11, 12 games this year, this dude's getting paid. This is a prove-it year for the head coach. I'm not just a nerd. I can beat you here, there, anywhere, anytime, any place. But on top of that, dude, I've said for the past 2 years, we're doing the show a year and a half. I've said for the past year and a half, Miami's front seven, when healthy, is a top 5 front seven. And this offensive core is not just name brand recognition. Dude, do they fucking deliver. They will throw the ball on you all day long. They will run the ball down your throat. They will run from the 20-yard line and bring it to the house.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter what running back's back there, which is kind of the scary part. Yeah,
which is wild. I mean, they're
Mostert, HN, Wilson.
The holes that this offensive line is creating is ridiculous.
It's big time. From learning from the
and we look at the schedule,
dude. Their head coach is firing all cylinders for sure.
And we look at this schedule, dude. They're not going forward. They aren't a team that is going against it's not a weak schedule here, dude. You're playing against arguably the second best team in the NFC, first to second best team in the Eagles next week. Then you're playing against the Patriots. We'll count that as a win. The Chiefs, you're playing against the Super Bowl champs. You can go toe-to-toe with them. The Raiders is a win. Then you're in an in-division game in East Rutherford, in Jersey, against a defense that has proven they can get it done against anybody in the Jets. but I think you win that game. I think you beat the Commanders. I think you beat the Titans. I think you split with the Jets. I think you beat the Cowboys. You got a real deal game with us on New Year's Eve, and then you play the Bills one last time. So it's not like they're walking through cake here and there's some fake team that's putting up 70 points against Denver every week. This is a team that's going to be going against some real people. What I want to know from you is, it's early in the season, it's week 6, but a lot of people start to see who can keep their strides going. Do you think that Miami is a real contender for the AFC right now? Or like the Orioles that we were talking about before, do they not know how to act like they've been there before outside of Tyreek?
No, I like that point. I like that point a lot. The reason I don't think that they're the Orioles is because they almost beat the Bills in the postseason last year.
Yep.
Up in
Yes,
Buffalo in the cold weather with a third string quarterback.
Yeah.
So that's the only reason I differed from that. Their biggest thing, kind of like the Eagles, Chiefs, 49ers, they just got to stay healthy. If they can be healthy moving into the last 2 weeks of the year, or the rest of the season, and have their guys for the playoffs, they're going to be a feisty team. You get Jalen Ramsey back, that brings that intensity on that defensive side of the ball, because that's the only thing I kind of question at this point, is whether their defense can really, their offense can go and they can put up points, but what happens, like when the Bills punch you in the mouth, a good defense punches you in the mouth, hopefully what the Eagles will do this week. How does their defense stand up to that? Can they go toe-to-toe, stop for stop, try to get their offense the ball back in key situations and give them more and more chances for that offense to hit? That's going to be the biggest question. I think it's a little too early to tell right now for this team. Honestly, just for this team in my mind, you kind of have a feel for a lot of other ones. This one in particular in my mind is they have a lot of firepower. They can be really, really good, or they can kind of fizzle. And we'll see how it goes, because this team can be the top team in the AFC and compete with that Chiefs squad and that Ravens squad, But
straight up.
We'll have to see whether this defense can really start to put up with it. They traded for Chubb. They traded for Ramsey. They got the other cornerback who had a lot of picks last year. I forget his name off the top of my head. But they got the guys. It's whether this coaching staff on the defensive side of the football will be able to live up to it, because the head coach doesn't give 2 Fs about the defense. He's just studying offensive tape.
He's an analytics guy through. He lives and breathes Microsoft Excel. Let's make that clear.
This guy is like, I want to get my guard over to the third gap, and I want to get him downfield 5 yards so my running back can hit exit velocity of 43 miles per hour. Like,
what do you think about him, dude? Because the one thing that I will say is, for as much as people make fun of him, dude,
I like the way he trolls. I
do too.
He trolls. Yeah.
Dude, you hung 70 on a Super Bowl winning head coach who's had one of the best careers ever and now is at a new team. You hung 70 on that, dude. You're working with a guy who's a stroke victim every other second. I mean, he is a very, do I think that his style of person is going to become the new feel of football? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You know what I'm saying? The feel of football is a guy like Mike Tomlin. You know what I'm saying? That's what football is. That's what a head coach looks like. That's what a head coach embodies. Silent but stern, punch you in the mouth. Football, talk like I'm still out on the field. Mike's not there.
I don't know, man. I kind of think that is more for the offensive, defensive coordinators and positional coaches. I think you want positional coaches like that. Punch you in the mouth. Let's go, boys, and smack your guys around. You got to be better. But then when it comes to the head coach and maybe the coordinators, you need a little bit more analytical at this point. Yeah. You have those guys do a deeper dive, and then you have guys underneath of them that kind of bring that rah-rah, that mean toughness to the rest of it, because those guys are more day-to-day than what the actual head coach is doing.
Sure.
So you have those guys underneath of them. That's kind of what we need to see from Miami here. You have the big analytical head coach, the guy that literally said he would only coach in a state that has legalized marijuana. So, like, the guy is just a chill dude. He's just studying tape left and right. Yep. It's the culture that he has underneath of him that is what it has to be proven over the next 10 weeks here.
Yep.
And that's where I see this Miami team. If they can prove that they can play that smash mouth football, that defense can step up for them, then they're a problem.
All right, dude, let's hit it. Let's talk some Eagles, and then let's talk some Ravens, and let's do some picks.
Yeah.
Tee it up, dude. Tell me what happened. Tell me what went wrong.
You know, I mean, we were looking at it going into halftime, you know, a minute 48 or something like that. Eagles get a stop. We're up 14-3 or something like that. Going in, we're about to go score another. We're at like the 50-yard line. I'm like, I'll go to grab another beer real quick, grab some chili because it's officially soup season. Yes, chili's a soup, but that's for another day. We get down to it, and then all of a sudden I hear whoa, and Dallas Goedert gets the ball punched out of him, and it's an interception going the other way. I don't think they scored going into half there. But the momentum just changed. And all of a sudden, the Eagles are coughing the ball up left and right. You lose Lane Johnson. And all of a sudden, went from me saying, we're going to win this game 38 to 12 to going, wow, we're actually sweating this out right now. And we got shut out in the second half. Shut out from a team that was moving the ball with ease, getting to Zach Wilson with ease. To not get a turnover on defense against Zach Wilson. Yes, the defense played great, but get me a turnover, man, especially when Jalen turns it over 4 times. That's tough. That was the worst game Jalen Hurts has played as an Eagle. It is. That was really bad. Your offensive line is really banged up. Supposedly Baldy on PMT today said that he was working out with them in his barn somewhere in Jersey and that he should be good to go for this week, but we'll see.
Who?
What? Lane Johnson. Sorry.
Oh, Lane Johnson. I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about New Jersey ready to go. I thought you meant Aaron Rodgers. I thought you meant the to the gills.
Sorry.
The guy with the guy with the best face. I just want to go on record real quick and say something. I know we're talking about Eagles. If you haven't noticed, ladies and gentlemen, I think I got decent facial hair, right? I keep it thick and long in the stash.
What do you think? I just shaved too.
I know, but the audience knows if they're a long-time listener that you're going to let that go homeless style in a little bit. And then I keep it tight on the cheeks. Aaron Rodgers' mustache. Let's just make one thing clear. I'm a big Travis Kelce guy. He can't light a candle next to Aaron's mustache. I mean, that thing looks like it could be on a Marlboro commercial.
We're starting a mustache war between these two as they're going through a vaccine war also.
A vaccine. Hey, Pfizer V9.
Hey, let us know who's got the better stash, Aaron Rodgers, Travis Kelce. That's a clip right there. But anyway.
And for the YouTube analytics, we are vax, so don't monetize it. Don't take us down. Right, exactly. Maybe not, but for this record, we are. Okay. Now, let me tell you what I think about the Eagles. I think, it's a tough law. Listen, dude.
Both teams were missing guys, so I'm not going to complain about injuries that much. It was just, it came down to your quarterback.
Yeah.
Gable, it wasn't even him that much. You had a fumble with Swift, that pick, and then Jalen threw 2 other ones, and Devontae had a couple drops. But let me say, defense played great, but you weren't able to take away from Zach Wilson, and that's just what frustrates me.
But let me say something, Trilly, and see, this is, I actually think what the bigger point is, and it's kind of a good thing for you guys coming off of a loss, and you tell me if you agree with this. You would not be saying these same points if Aaron Rodgers would have been under center. And I think that is actually the bigger point about this team, not the Eagles. It's about the Jets. The Jets are a team with that defense, not with that Swiss cheese of an offensive line. But the Jets have a defense and have some offensive players that, dude, if they were to have had Aaron for the start of this season, they could have beat the Eagles even worse, possibly. They could beat the 49ers, possibly. They could beat Kansas City, possibly. Because, dude, that you've got a defense that can run. Now, also, things came to them, right? Jalen was turning the ball over left and right. That's not going to happen every game for the Jets go in their favor. But I think that what helps the Eagles here is you're kind of seeing, no, it's not that the Eagles are bad by any means. You only lost 1 game. It's fine. It's whatever. You move on to the next week. You're going to do great. You're absolutely gonna be a Super Bowl contender. But I think that it kind of shows who the Jets really are, which is, dude, that once they get this guy, they could be what I was talking about going into the season. They could win the AFC East. They could be a real contender, a hard contender, given all the dogs that are in the AFC. But dude, you just beat one of the best. You beat arguably the second to third best team in the National Football League in the Philadelphia Eagles. That is huge for this team. I know it's not as much an Eagles take because, again, I'm not worried about the Eagles. I know who they are. You're allowed to lose a game. But do you not I mean, I think that that's the bigger point.
If Aaron Rodgers was playing in this game, I think the Eagles still should have won that football game. They should have, because their defense.
Well, of course you say that. Yeah.
The Eagles defense was great. It's the offense has continued to struggle in the red zone, has continued to struggle to move the ball and figure out the proper sequences to get their guys in a groove. And that comes to the new offensive coordinator, Brian Johnson, who has coached Jalen Hurts since he was a kid. He's getting a shot to coach him again, and the guy seems too far over his skis. You only ran the ball 14 times, Harry, with your running backs. 14 times. With the best offensive line. Now Lane went out, so that changes a lot of things. But we are known to run the football again and again and again, and give Jalen a little bit more time and some help to scheme up things. You throw the ball 45 times. That's asking a lot, man. And when it came down to it, this team wasn't able to find that rhythm again in the second half because they didn't know what to do. Yes, Lane Johnson is a huge thing. The Eagles are 10-25. They are 10 wins, 25 losses without Lane Johnson playing for the Philadelphia Eagles in his career. Lane is a Hall of Famer, but you have to figure out ways to scheme up at coming out of half to get the ball to A.J. Brown, to get the ball to Dallas Goedert, to run the football with Swift and Kenny Gainwell and Stott and help Jalen out. And that was just terrible because Jalen played well in the first quarter. He's stiff-arming guys, throwing dots, and then all of a sudden everybody looked clueless. And this Eagles team needs to figure it out any way possible. You bring in Julio Jones. I don't know how much he's really got left in the tank, but maybe that'll help out in the red zone situations. They need to be able to stretch the field in more competent ways, not just Jalen dropping back and looking for the deep ball to AJ. Sure. Hit the slants, hit the out routes, roll Jalen out even, give Jalen options. They just aren't doing it. It's stale. It's slow. But the Eagles are 5-1.
So 5-1.
Complain too much.
No, you can't. All right, dude. Let's talk about a team that kind of echoes a lot of what you just said, ending it off here with the with two-time champs, the two-time Birds, the ones that are in the city of Baltimore. Technically,
they got a dub over the pond.
They got the dub, but I'll never forget when we first started the show. Do you remember one of our first episodes? It was week 1. Ravens went on the road against the Jets, and we beat them like 21-7. But I was like, dude, it should have been 42-7. Like I was, and I go, and you said, Harry, I've never heard somebody be more mad about a win in my life. And I was like, yeah, dude, because it wasn't a quality win. That's the way that I felt against Rabel, dude, and against these Titans. I mean, dude, the amount of 3-and-outs that we had and not being able to close in the. I mean, I don't understand what has happened between Lamar Jackson and Todd Monken. It is, you cannot place money on them being on the same page week by week. They are either firing on all cylinders, those two, or they are not. And they are not creating schemes that works for Lamar. What works for Lamar? What works for Lamar is have an offensive line that can protect him. We have not proven so far that we can do that. What we have proven is we have a defense that will shut you down and play all 4 quarters 24/7, hit you in the mouth, and give our offense every opportunity to get back on the field. But what we've not been able to prove is, can we get Odell open? Yes, he's been hurt. Can we get Odell open? Can we get Mark Andrews out of the block and have more than 50+ yards a game? Can we get him to 100 yards a game? And our biggest weakness through the past 2 weeks, even with this win, we can't punch it through 15 yards to the goalposts. We cannot create a hole for Hill or Edwards. And at the end of the day, if we end up playing Miami, if we end up playing the Bills, if we end up playing Kansas City, moments like that matter. We're going into week 7 now. We're talking about a team, again, we lost a very most viewed video on our Instagram so far. You saw me be emotional about the Steelers loss. I've said it before, team that knows how to play us the best, whatever. But you're going to have moments where that's not going to be the type of loss. It's not going to be against Mike Tomlin. It's going to be against Andy Reid, where you got to compete with them offensively, dude. And the amount of field goals that we left a minimum of 2 touchdowns in that game. And I'm being generous. I would say 3.
No, 100%. I would agree with that.
I would say 3, but I'm going to leave it at 2. We left 2 touchdowns on that field and just took 6. So my whole point is what I'm now looking for is I know that the Ravens are so close to make that next jump.
They're a team that knows how to kick a great field goal, as you said before the episode.
They're a team that knows how to kick the most beautiful field goal. They're a team that knows how to cross it up, line it up. That man, JT, showing his teeth, holding it down for the city of Baltimore on both the west and east side. It don't matter. He can do whatever he need to do. But our issue is here, dude, is I'm chomping at the bit to watch my team take that leap that I think that you and I both know that they have the potential to do. It's just, when is it going to happen? I don't know. But I'm ready for it. You just got to get there. They got to, but the only way that they're going to get there, dude, is the offense has got to take advantage of those red zone opportunities. And finally, dude, when Roquan gets you back on the field, you better damn well score.
That was a huge trade for them, getting him. He's a stud.
Can I just say something real quick? I'm going on record. It's October 18th, 2023. He signed a 5-year contract at the beginning of the season. He will go down in NFL history if he continues his trajectory as the biggest steal in NFL history. I am telling you right now, dude, that guy is in a class of Ray Lewis. And that's crazy to say.
What did they give up for him?
A 2nd-round pick.
Yeah, I mean, the guy's a stud.
Guy's a stud.
He's the middle of a defense, anchor of a defense. And that's kind of what leads me back to this question that I've asked you almost every week about this Ravens team is, what's their identity? It was always running the football. You know, where's Odell? Zay Flowers has had his moments.
He's had his moments.
Where is this offense at? What's the identity of this football team moving forward?
The identity right now is it's back to 2007, 2008, and 2001 when you won a Super Bowl. You win one in 2012, but defense, I wouldn't argue was our identity. I would argue that we were very even. We're a defensive first team, and that's not a team in this league that will win a Super Bowl. Because here's the new algorithm for the NFL. The new algorithm is offense gets you to the Super Bowl. You win the Super Bowl with defense. That is the algorithm. There's no doubt about that. Because what got the Eagles to the position that they got to be able to be in a Super Bowl last year? Their defense was amazing, but it was their offense, dude. It was getting Jalen those pieces. And the Ravens have made moves to do that now. What has it been for the Bengals getting to a Super Bowl against the Rams? They had a decent defense, but what got them there was getting a stud quarterback and the pieces that he said, go draft these guys. So I can win you 12 games. I can win you 13 games. Offense is what wins you the regular season. It's what puts you in the seeding charts. It's what wins you some playoff games. What will win you a Super Bowl is what the Ravens are playing now. It's got to be the opposite way. And so I think that what we got to find is, again, our biggest issue to answer your question, what's our identity? Our identity is that we're a defensive team with a bad offensive line. And that's got to change. Because if we don't get our offensive line together and we don't make Hill and Edwards as dynamic as they should be, and Lamar doesn't have time to not just Zay acts like Chase. He's always open. But there are going to be times where Lamar's not going to see him. So how can the offensive line give him time to find Likely and Andrews and to find Odell? Odell has had 3 or 4 moments so far this season I've wanted him to have 7. So I think that's our identity, dude. What do you think about that take about offense and defense?
No, I would 100% agree with that. Defense wins. I mean, it's always the cliche. Defense wins championships. The offenses, you need to put up points to win 12, 13 games.
Right.
And I mean, honestly, the last Super Bowl, that kind of wasn't really the case. But for the Chiefs to beat the Eagles was a fumble return for a touchdown, pretty much a big punt return. It's all 3 phases of the game, really, where it's not just offense is going to win it for you.
Yeah.
But now to wrap up the little Ven's talk here, Lamar got that big contract. Take the offensive line out of it a little bit, which is tough for a grading scale here.
Where's
but
he
just
at?
Off what you've seen, what would you give Lamar's grade before we take a quick break here? We're not broke boys anymore. We spent the money on the Zoom, all right? So,
Yeah.
but we can click the pause button because I kind of got to take a little quick piss, grab another drink.
Yeah.
But
I think it's a good question, dude, because I always try to be honest on the show, but I'm also a homer right now.
Because Lamar,
statistically, he's off the charts.
Yeah, but the points.
But the eyeball test is what you're talking about.
This team should be putting up 25 plus, right?
You're talking about the eyeball. You're talking about beating Mr. T. You're talking about Hulk Hogan calling out Stone Cold Steve Austin in the middle of the square ring. That's what you're talking about. You're talking about The Rock saying to people, who's the people's champ? You're talking about John Cena going like this right in front of his face before retaining the WWE title, WrestleMania 29.
Is he leaving stuff out there to be desired?
He's a B+ right now. Okay. He's a B+. And that's an honest answer.
What's the plus? Because I was saying B. I was thinking B. What's that plus?
I think the plus is delivering 4-2 with having arguably the hardest road schedule that he's had since entering the NFL.
I like that. They have had a tough go road of it schedule. Out the gate here.
Yeah, they have. And now it's going to even out. So we got to make the most of that opportunity. Now we're going to be home for long stretches. And we got to dominate for that. And you look at those upcoming games, right? This is a big game to show, can you shut down a high-powered offense? Because this defense is going to get, like, again, we're going to talk about it in the betting show. Lions haven't seen a defense like us before. We're going to get them off the field, but Lamar's got to take advantage of that. The Cardinals, you should win that game by 20 points. The Seahawks, you should win that game. The Browns in division. Bengals, I'm not going to get greedy like I did, but I'm going to tell you, dude, you've got a chance here to beat some really good teams, and I think that they can do it. I do. But the B+ comes from the road. I think we end it there. And I want to see Lamar make Odell look like that he's only lived in Baltimore his whole life.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Hey, that felt good.
Felt great,
to recap the games again.
We're back.
It's been a little bit since we've done it.
It's a long episode. I love it.
Yeah, it is. And we're going to hit a quick break. It's going to take maybe a second for you guys because we love you. We spend the money because you guys make it possible. All right. Philly Drinkers makes it possible. So we'll hit a quick break. We'll come back on the other side. We're going to give you our picks. All right. Because hashtag we're rolling. Hashtag the HTP it's due.
It's due.
It's going to hit. It's going to hit.
So close.
I had it pop up in the video pop up on my Snapchat the other day, the memory. This week, last year, the HTP hit for the first time.
Holy fuck, this is a destiny.
This is it. So if you're not riding, if you're not hitting that subscribe button, if you're not following on Instagram and all the platforms, you're missing out. All right.
It's a destiny pick. Destiny.
All right. We're back.
I already opened.
Got it. I was keeping a beer in the koozie pocket of the hoodie.
Are those mountains blue?
Yeah, very blue.
And now you're pouring it into the cup. Tell us who our sponsor of the week is, Trill.
If you haven't noticed, the hat, the hoodie, the cup, not the beer, but it's Philly Drinkers. We love Philly Drinkers. We love them. They're the best. Look at this. This is just class. Because guess what? The Kelly Green hoodie, the helmet, it's coming back this Monday or Sunday night. Philadelphia Eagles are rocking the Kelly Green in the link, prime time against the Miami Dolphins. Get the hoodie. You want to wear this for the tailgates coming up. Go get it. Buy it, buy it, buy it. Let's get after it here because there's a lot of great games.
Can I ask you a quick question?
This week.
Would the best colors on the field for a game of all time be Eagles, Kelly green, Miami orange?
Teal. Oh, orange. I was thinking teal.
Teal on Kelly green would be a little confusing.
A little rough.
I like Kelly green with orange.
Okay.
Imagine how crazy that would be. They pulled the orange unis out.
It's like a color rush game almost Sunday night prime time. But we'll get to that game in a little bit because Harry and I both were talking in the break how we kind of both like a certain take.
We do. And how good, by the way, ladies and gents, what you should be tailing through and through, even more than the locks. I can't believe I would ever say that. Dude, how good are our earthquakes, dude?
Dude, our
earthquakes have been crazy. I mean, they're mind-boggling. You ever seen that movie, the skyscraper one with, or not the skyscraper one, the earthquake one with The Rock, and the city falls through and he saves everybody? That's us with our earthquake picks. We save you. We give you the goods.
Of course. But here, look, see how blue those mountains are, right?
That motherfucker's blue.
I'm gonna put it in the koozie pocket, and then once we finish this beer here, that's in this best glass of all time.
Out of respect,
we'll look and see what it's looking like. The mountains
how blue. Okay.
In that koozie pocket. As we make our picks here, of course.
With the unders and underdogs rolling off with pick one, I'm going to start us off. The lines this week are interesting. They're bamboozling. I wonder where they stand. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going with under and underdogs. I got to say something, Trill. I like a lot of the games here, but I don't like a lot of the underdogs spread-wise. I like some totals. For an under, I'll tell you what, brother. I'm going under 45.5 Cardinals at Seahawks. I think that this is a game that defense rules. Defense controls the tempo. The Cardinals have shown spots where they can definitely score, but they don't know what they are offense or defensively. And the Seahawks, I think sooner than later, dude, they got to have an homage to their defensive loyalties and where they go to with the Legion of Boom, whatever the hell they were called. I also have been loving all the Marshawn Lynch content that's been coming out. He's my favorite. He's top 3 favorite player all time. It's been a ton more than ever before. Like dude, he's been on like 5 people's shows within the last 2 weeks. It's been great. But yeah, dude, I do. I like this pick. I see this being a 17-10 game. Under 45.5. I don't have much explanation except that I think it's just 2 bad teams. Not bad. I don't think the Seahawks are bad, but this isn't a fun game. This isn't a game where Trilly or I is going to go, dude, you need to turn this on.
No, we're not. That game in the 4:00 hours getting lost, and we're kind of forgetting about it. But honestly, looking at the other 4:00 games, the only 2 other ones, there's not much still. The 3 other ones, 4 total. The Chargers-Chiefs game is really the only game that you're really watching, you know?
Correct.
But with that being said, I kind of like Denver. 1.5.
Ooh, wow. Break that down for me, dude. You like Denver at 1.5 as the dog. You don't think they're chasing too much, dude? Why? What do you they're at home. Maybe Jordan Love has trouble breathing, I could see. You like that one?
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. I just can't get behind this Denver offense, dude. And I loved Russ.
Yeah,
but
I think it's put up or shut up time for this Denver team.
Got it.
For the head coach, for the quarterback, they're gonna start blowing it up if they lose this. And if they lose it bad. At home, this is a must win. This is a must win of the century. And a team coming in the Green Bay Packers that has been struggling. You had the cornerback calling out your quarterback last game for the Packers. Jair Alexander was saying, I get it. You know, the offense is young, but I feel like we have to score points on defense for us to win. Like, that's not good. When the defense starts going on your quarterback like that and turning and saying, we need to not give up points. We actually need to score to win.
That's bad.
That's bad. To go on the road and where the defense is meh, where their offense is meh, on both sides of the football. I'm taking a team that needs it more. If Green Bay loses this game, I don't think it's the end of the world. They move on. They still got talent. You kind of learn more about Jordan Love in that situation, but Denver needs this game. They need it. So as a pick 'em almost there, I'll take it.
It is a pick 'em.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it, dude. Okay, I'm sliding in. Last year we saw it. We're seeing it again on the road. AFC West in division game, 4:00 spot, 4:25 kickoff. Chargers at the Chiefs. I'm taking the under 48.5, dude. I'm doing another point spread here, or sorry, total here. I don't, FanDuel's got it at 47.5. I don't care. Yeah, 47.5, whatever you're betting on, 48. I don't know, dude. I think that you made some really good points about how good this Chiefs defense is. And I made some good points about some opportunities that Patrick has given to other teams. The difference is that the Chargers have shown us that they can't make good on opportunities given to them. Yeah. They just can't.
This is another game that Justin Herbert needs to prove that he's a guy and goes in and I'm the guy here. I got the big money. I'm getting paid the most in the league.
And I don't think that happens here. I think that Khalil Mack proves that he's the guy here, not just Herbert. Because, dude, Herbert has not been able to, much like the Ravens, Herbert has not been able to capitalize in some situations that he's really needed. You look at that game last week, dude, or was that?
Yeah, we didn't talk about the Dallas one.
We didn't talk about that Dallas game. They couldn't capitalize in the way that they should with this kid who's got $250 million sitting in the bank. I think that's where I come out too. I think that they're begging you to take the over under 48.5. I think it's easy. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't hate that just because the Chiefs offense hasn't been clicking as well as you think it would be, right? If this Chiefs offense was cooking and they're putting up 30 points, I would say, okay, this is going to be a 34-28 football game, take the over. But both these teams are far from that right now for the whole season almost. So it'd be a bit of a stretch to get that many points coming out. I like it. I like it. You know me, I don't like taking unders is my biggest thing.
Yeah, well, I was going to talk about the Jackson Saint games, dude, but there's way too much money on you can't tell. I'm transitioning real quick before you give your pick, because that was actually going to be the game that I talk about. But you can't tell me that everyone is not going to be betting that pick 'em at a point for the Jags. They're +1, dude.
Thursday
Everyone's going to bet that. I can't put them in.
Yeah.
Everyone is betting that. But everyone is betting that. And what do we say? When everyone goes that way, you got to turn around and run. I can't bet that game. And the points are too low. The points are too low. It's over under 40. I can't have that.
It's a weird game. It is a weird game.
What do you think? You're kind of talking me out of this. You're talking me out of this Chiefs game, dude. You think that they get it going? I don't know. Now you're making me think that Herbert steps up, and I love Herbert. Number 10 in your heart.
I'm just saying that I never bet against potential of offenses, potential of points being scored. Now, if Khalil Mack steps up and makes plays, if Joey Bosa steps up and makes plays, Derwin James, right? They make plays like they did against Dallas. They only let Dallas score, 20 points? Like, everybody was hyping up Dallas all year. They stink. But anyway,
do I flip it? Do I go plus the 5.5? Can they keep it within a tug? That's the thing.
Take the under. I have a terrible read for unders. I hate betting unders.
You do. Yeah, correct. And when you don't like it, I gotta like it. You're Rico, I'm Dave.
If you look at all of our bet slips, I never touch an under. I take underdogs. I don't take unders.
You don't, out of respect. All right. Give us your second pick, brother. Who's that for the unders and the underdogs?
Well, I was looking at the one game here. This line's telling me Justin Fields is going to play at +3.
Okay.
Why the hell would Badgett or whatever his name is, the backup quarterback, be only a 3-point dog, right? So Justin Fields has to be playing. Now, I'm not going to touch that game just because the thought of Fields maybe getting hurt mid-game. I don't know why. You think I should take the Bears.
I love it, dude. I think the Raiders coming off a win, they don't know how to produce 2 wins. I love the Bears here.
That was my thought process 100%. But I'm just afraid of Fields getting hurt mid-game or something, and we're screwed again with this guy from Millersville University. Shout out Senpen. But like,
hold it down.
Coming in, and we're just like, please just keep kicking field goals. Get in field goal range so we can chip away. But yeah, it's interesting because that 3 points is telling me Fields is going to play, right? Like if their backup QB is in, that's got to be at least a 6.5, right?
Without a doubt.
All right, fuck. Sorry, screw it. Put 3 points, Bears, if Fields plays.
There it is. If Fields plays. No, you're locked in, dog.
Might take money line if Fields plays.
You might take money line. Wow.
If Justin Fields plays, I think the Bears team is way better than this.
What's the Vegas money team on that? Let's see that. Dude, that's it. I you know what? I think you just do that outright. I think you take the Bears outright.
I'll take the points. I'll play it safe.
Okay, fair enough. All right. Last under or underdogs for Hollywood Hair. Again, I'm not touching this Jags Saints game. There's way too much money going on that pick 'em for the Jags. How that game is a pick 'em with the Saints coming off of a loss and the Jags coming off of a win. That primetime game, we'll bet touchdown spreads, we'll bet overs and unders of touchdowns thrown and shit like that. I'm not touching that game. I am not touching that game. I can't touch that game. Now after I say that, who am I moving with? I've done too many unders with points. I got to take an underdog. I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, I think they step up here. I'm going to ride it. I'm taking the Giants plus the 2.5. Hear me out.
Wow.
Hear me out. Because I rode big time Washington last week, and damn, did they step up at plus 1.5. I knew that they were taking that all day. Are you kidding me? Who's playing, though? Is Danny Dimes playing?
Yeah, from what I've seen.
Okay, if Danny's in, I don't want to play your games where you say if somebody's in and if somebody's not, you're betting the spread. I'm going with the Giants, out of respect to the state of New Jersey, out of respect to the hometown where the fam's from. But number 2, man, they have fallen off the wagon. And to your point about your Denver take about this is put up or shut up time, I kind of think it's that way right now for the Giants, dude. You just paid a guy $140 million when you didn't pay your running back who clearly is your offense, and you have fallen off the wagon, dude. And I was singing your praises during the preseason, and you look like ass. This is an in-division rivalry where clearly Washington has overshadowed you this season in being that number 3 team in the NFC East. I think that this is a time where they try to keep it close, dude.
The Giants were feisty in prime time. Yeah, for sure. This Washington team, other than playing against the Eagles, they look like they're an up and down squad every way you put it. Yep. Whether it's their defense giving up points or their offense turning the ball over, they can get some pressure on Sam Howell. I like them keeping it close in this game.
I like it.
Divisional game at MetLife. The stadium sucks. Maybe there a couple Washington players get hurt because that tier sucks.
They thrive off of that, though, dude. The Giants love that. They love seeing a guy go down.
Yeah, we don't root for that, but it's terrible. That turf is terrible. You
think they ever put grass in there?
They have to. Well, they are for soccer purposes because they want to have
for the World Cup.
Yeah, they want when the soccer's coming through in 2 years. They're putting turf in that.
We're going to that, by the way.
There's going to be a couple games in Philly too.
Philly, I know. We're going to that for sure. Yeah. No question. Cold ones will be a sponsor.
2026.
Yep.
It's going to be Philadelphia's going to have the MLB All-Star game. They're going to have the NBA All-Star game. They're going to have a World Cup game. Yeah, because it's the 250th anniversary of the country that summer.
Yep.
So where the country was born and raised in Philadelphia, PA.
Shut up! Hold it down! Hold it down!
So that's where they're bringing it all home. They're representing the city. We're all winners here in Philly.
I love this country. Shout out the USA. Yeah, so, second place.
They're bringing it home in 2026, so we all better be there. But anyway, Moving on. Where were we? Yeah, I mean, this Washington team is just so inconsistent that this Giants team really does need to be. They need to, with Dable, too. Everybody was hyping him up last year, coach of the year,
with
everything.
Dable.
Yeah.
With Dable.
And he deserved it last year. Now he's throwing the iPad, and he has no feel for this team. They're banged up, bringing in guys literally off the street, as they're saying on Monday Night Football, as they're getting introduced. It's interesting. I don't hate it. When we were talking beforehand, there's a lot of games that you look at and you're like, I don't know if I want to touch it.
Yeah,
just because everything's just speaking to you so close, where you would have thought that with the weeks prior, these spreads were so big, right? That it's like,
crazy.
It was either too much or too little for one side.
You had to feel.
Now you looking at all these matchups are just so tough. And you're just like,
dude, exactly. I have no read on this Falcons-Bucks game, dude. Like, I want to take
Commanders. If this was a Commanders 6 points, or even 3.5, I'm taking the Giants at a field goal, right?
Field goal. Out of respect.
A field goal game scares me. What were you saying about the Falcons?
No, I'm just making a point. Making a point about what you were saying about picking these spreads. Like, I like that game. I think that's a very entertaining game. But Falcons Bucks, but it's a 2.5 point spread. To your point, I don't know how that goes. I don't have a feel for either of those teams. I don't have a feel for the NFC South. I don't know. Is Baker going to take off because he got demolished against the Lions? Maybe he throws for 3 touchdowns. I don't know. So I do. There's not that room where you're like, oh, this is definitely not going to work out for this team. It's like, no, 2.5 points. That's easy to make up, dude. Just got to get your kicker within 35.
Yeah.
What's your last under, dude?
See, now I'm looking at one staring me right in the face, but I'm not going to do it out of respect. All right. Out of respect for the pod. We've talked a lot of smack. And I think,
the 3?
What?
You like the 3.
I'm not going to do it, though.
You can. No, you can.
No,
tell me why.
I'm not going to do it.
I would rather you do it and lose.
I'm not going to do it. I'm just thinking, from everything we talked about in the first bit of the podcast here, this Lions team needs to show that they can score or hang with a good, solid defense and a solid team. And for them to go to Baltimore and win this football game, that would make them legit.
Without a doubt.
And that's why them catching points here makes it a little enticing. And maybe Vegas is kind of telling me, you want to think the Lions are legit. Everybody in the world thinks the Lions are legit. Take them. We'll give you points for them. And the Ravens go and they beat them by a tug. And we're like, okay, maybe Jared Goff and the Lions aren't that great after all. So that's why, out of respect, I respect the Ravens too much. I'm not going to touch them. But that's just my thought process there. Do you not disagree with that at all?
See, I actually think that the Lions are a great play for a better. And the reason why is because my next bet when we go to overs and faves is I'm taking the over in that game. I think that this is even though I've been making the point that I think that the Lions have not faced a defense like this, we're going to get them off the field. The Lions still know how to score. And the Ravens know that they got to score here. They're going against a defense that is subpar, can play their own NFL ball, but you got to get it to Flowers. You got to get it to Odell. You got to get it to Andrews this game. And through all of that, you got to try to run it down their throat. So if the Lions are pushing to that corner, what are they going to do? Set them loose. They're going to let their guys go. They're going to let Goff play freely. I don't think that 3 is bad. I think it's a very tight game.
I think so. 100%. Out of respect.
But out of respect,
I'm not going to take them. Okay. Instead, I'm going to go to this ugly one here. Because a team that's been feisty all year, and they've been hanging close with a lot of teams. I'll take the Cardinals 7.5. I think they keep this within a touchdown game against the Seahawks.
7.5. I like that. That's a big spread for the Hawks to be catching. I get it.
Yeah, and that's my big thing. I don't believe in Geno. Now, the one thing that could bite me is I hate looking what previous weeks and whatnot. Like, I try to look at the full grand scheme of things throughout the year, what a team has looked like. But them trying to bounce back after a tough physical loss against the Bengals last week,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That could kind of show its head here, and they put up 30 plus points, and I don't think the Cardinals can hang with that. But I think this Cardinal defense is physical enough to keep this within a 7-point game.
Wait, but hold on. I took the under in that game. You really think that the Seahawks have got that potential?
No. I'm just saying, looking at last week, right? If you look
Right.
at last week, you think the Cardinals, or not the Cardinals, the Seahawks want to bounce back against a bad
And
Cardinals
dominate
team
and dominate.
and
Right.
dominate, right? That's what you think looking week to week. But looking over the grand scheme of things here for the Seahawks, they really aren't putting up points like crazy, right?
Sure. No,
They just
100%.
aren't. Gino
100%.
has been serviceable. He's done okay. They got weapons on this team, but this Cardinals defense has been able to hang with a lot of squads, and they've been able to play decent defense enough to and feisty and hang within the number for most of the season now that looking at it, I think they do the same exact thing. I think the Seahawks should still win this football game, but I think when you look at it, it's going to be a lot closer than you expect.
I like that, man. I like it a lot. All right, let's hit overs and faves, dude. And I'm going to kick it off with what I said. I'm going to give a little bit of a weather report here, though we don't have our weather lady. I'm hoping that you can shoot her a text. I don't know if she's
what
asleep by
happened?
now.
Well, her bed hit Brees Hall last time, right?
Yeah, it did. She's on fire, dude. She's
on fire
for one right now. She's due for one, ain't she?
2 for 1. Yep, 2 for 1.
Yep. All right, dude. I'm taking the over. I'm taking the over at home. It should be a beautiful day. Rain's coming Friday and Saturday. I'm taking the over. Lions, Ravens. Like I said, I do think that the Ravens step up here. The over's at 42.5. That's not a lot of points for what this Baltimore team has shown that they can do and this Lions squad. And the one thing that I will say is I do think that the Lions live up to the moment. I think that during the first half, they're going to have a lot of 3 and outs, but then they're going to get that grit into them, and they're going to let their boys go loose, and they're going to try to run with Lamar, and they're going to try to run with Roquan, and they're going to try to run with Andrews and Odell Beckham. I think Odell Beckham anytime touchdown is a lock of death.
Really? You think so? Odell
absolutely.
Finally gets that moment?
This is where he needs to step up. This is where he wants it. Yes. It's getting late into the season, man. He needs it.
He needs it big time.
He needs it big
What's
time.
that
Over
deal?
42.5. Huh?
What's that deal with Odell? Why
dude,
hasn't he been?
He's I'm just writing this down. I mean, dude, he got hurt, but I'm telling you, the main thing is it's this confusion that there has been with Todd Monken and Lamar. They've not been able to find schemes that work for Odell, but they have been able to find schemes that work for Zay Flowers. Zay looks ridiculous. Like, I got to go on record. How wrong was I about that pick? How wrong was I?
From the jump.
From the jump. I've been wrong. I own it. I was like, dude,
Blashiak was kind of in on it.
Yep, he was. I was like, I don't want pressure on this kid. Mr. Blashiak he was like, this kid can compete. He's fast. You know, he's at Boston. He's working his ass off.
That's a football guy.
Oh my God. You look at him, it says war paint on a Sunday. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, dude, I do. I like the Ravens in this spot, but even more than that, I like the Lions chasing. I still think the Ravens come out with the win, obviously, but I like the over 42.5.
Okay. Before I give my pick, I'm going to pull this out.
That
Look
is
how
blue.
blue these mountains are still.
That's crazy.
Been sitting in the pocket for about, 20 minutes now?
20 minutes.
A little bamboo pocket here. You know
at a minimum.
You just keep it right there, whip it out. And look, we even got on the side here with Philly drinkers. You got the bottle opener. Crack this.
Out of respect. For the love of the city, for the love of the game.
But before we give this pick here that's sponsored by Philly drinkers, we're giving them a lot of shout outs because we love them so much. But
they've been coming out with great gear, dude. Alex is holding it down.
He is. You got to go check it out. But for the next over or favorite, I kind of like it. Kind of like it here, right? One game that it's just ugly, man. It's really, really ugly. And it's the Buffalo Bills, New England Patriots.
Ooh, you're taking that 8, aren't you?
What?
You're taking that 8.5, aren't you?
I was thinking about the 40.
Oh, see, I like I like that a lot more.
Yeah, because I think the Bills can put up 30
Yeah.
plus on this
Yeah.
Bills on this especially if Judon's still out too. They're
100%.
they're struggling. A team that's struggling for an identity.
Oh my
They're
God.
kind of calling for Bill's head there in Patriot land a
Which,
little bit. Does Bill still got it? Can he still be the guy? That's what a
who's
lot of
really doing that though? And no real Patriots fan is calling for his head.
dude, I don't know.
Hank isn't.
You hear? Yes, he is.
No,
Come on.
he's just like well, actually, no, you're right. He's
Grumbling
he's
a little
grumbling,
bit.
but Dave is still like Dave is riding for Mac through and through. Half in, half out.
Yeah, he's waiting. He's waiting. He wants Sanders' kid, Shador or
Yeah,
whatever.
he's so good, dude. That kid
Yeah,
is
he's
so
good.
good.
If he leaves, he's like, I'm gonna call Dion and make sure he declares. Like,
I want you and I in a couple weeks to talk about my take of what I think that how NIL is going to completely change NFL contracts. Because and
well, yeah.
Shador is going to be the main reason why. Dude, he's going back to Colorado for 2 more years. He's not going to the NFL.
Well, Caleb Williams is reportedly asking for ownership stake to leave because he's still got an extra year in college. Did you see
What does
that?
that mean? Ownership stake. What does that mean?
For him to leave, whoever will take him number 1 overall, he wants a percentage of ownership of the team
What?
that drafts him. Yes.
Good for him, dude. That's awesome.
And he said, if you don't give me that, I'm going to stay another year and I'll make another $5 million.
I get it. I get it for a player of his talent, though. Because but the one thing that I'm just going to say is Shador is the best quarterback right now in college football, even more
He's
than
good.
Caleb Williams.
The kid can sling it.
He's playing, dude. The way it's not that he can sling it, dude. You seen him extend the pocket,
and he looks downfield all the time. Like he's not looking to run.
No,
he's looking to let it fly downfield. Yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah, it's crazy. All right,
40 and a half. I like the Bills over in that game because I think the Bills are going to put up some points. They've been waiting. They've been building up, and this team has been so frustrated this whole season that they're just looking to beat down a team. And I think this New England Patriots team is waiting for a goddamn beatdown. They're looking to be bent over and spanked, and they want to be put in their place.
This episode,
the Bills have been beaten down by New England and Tom Brady for 2 decades. It's Josh Allen's time. He's going to put up 45 on him. It's going to be easy over. Love it. Yeah, there you go. 10-second chug for the
dude. For the college, dude, this episode's going on for like 2.5 hours. Okay, all right. To the next. For the love of the game, for the love of the city, you heard. Overs and faves. I'll tell you what, man. I got to see what the spread is here. I think that they're kind of starting to be the real deal. They're lighting people up. I love the Rams here -3. That they aren't catching 5 says to me that a lot of people are going to bet on that Steelers defense. The Rams have come to play against a lot of teams. They're proving a lot of people wrong. I think that arguably they're the second best team in that division. They've been on and off without Cooper Kupp. They've been on and off with really every offensive guy that you have. Really, they've only had, Darnold's been the only guy consistently healthy that's been a star for that team. I love them here at home against the Steelers -3. I think they absolutely win this goal by a field goal, if not more.
Okay. Browns -2.5. I just think that offense for the Colts with Gardner Minshew doesn't have it anymore. I think the Minshew magic is run out. Even no matter who starts for that Browns team, I think they'll be able to keep it within a field goal. I'm a little scared. I'm a little scared of the letdown after the big win last week. I'm a little scared of that, but their defense is so good that they'll get me a touchdown here, and they'll give me the separation that we need.
You like a defensive touchdown here? You're going to bet that?
Oh, I might. I bet. Well, funny thing is, I bet 49ers defensive touchdown last week against the Browns with PJ Walker in. I was like, oh, this is money. I bet the 49ers, the over in that game, thinking that the defensive touchdown was going to happen. I kind of like a Browns defensive touchdown in this game with Gardner. in.
You know what, dude? I'm riding that with you. I'm taking the as my last
An earthquake.
an
The
earthquake.
earthquakes have been money. Ah,
Yeah, I like it, dude. I do because I've been saying this to you, dude. The Browns with these injuries to Cincinnati, the Browns are the second most legitimate team in the AFC North. They know how to win football right now. They do.
yeah.
They for the first time going on 2.5 years now, they have a real deal coaching staff, man. And no one talks about it, but they do. Because they got in their division, they got Joe Burrow, they got Lamar Jackson. So who gives a F about Cleveland? You know, the only reason why Cleveland's relevant right now is because of Myles Garrett and because they got a weirdo at quarterback, right?
Yep.
But they know how to win games. So I like that. -2.5, Browns all the way. Give us your last one, brother.
Last one. I'm getting text from the weather girl right now, too. So hold on for her touchdown pick. 2-1 on the year, by the way.
Hold
But
it down.
you know, no, I'm not gonna do it. Because we talked about it. How we both kind of that Sunday night football game. Are you gonna talk about it with your next pick at all?
Sunday night. I am going to talk about it with my next pick. Yeah.
Yeah. You're not taking Dolphs.
I'm not going to tell you what I'm going for my lock.
Oh, all right, fine.
My lock is next. This is your fave and ove.
All right.
What is it? That 2.5? That's a tight game, dude. This is a tight game. Tight game, which I don't disagree with. I think that both of
Yeah.
these teams can compete with one another. It would shock me.
I want you to
shock
give
me.
your pick, and then I'm gonna bounce back because
You want me to give my lock?
No, I'm gonna give mine, but then I'll let you talk about that game. My last pick, I'm gonna take over 43.5 Rams Steelers.
Okay.
Because I think the Rams can score points with Puka and Cooper Kupp. I'm a little scared of the Pittsburgh defense a little bit, but not too much. That
43.5.
Yeah, this team is just able to spread you out enough. And with Stafford, I can see them putting up at least 28. Steelers try to fight for 14 for me. So that's where I'm looking, or 17. So.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are on to the locks, and then we're hitting the HTP. First, Trilly, give us the weather girl pick.
She was saying, hold on. Sorry, I just looked at my phone. It was on sleep mode. I look terrible. I said to come on. All right, well, you give us your lock.
Okay, I'm going to tell you where my lock's at. It's Sunday night football. It's prime time. It's arguably the two seed in the NFC and the 2 seed in the AFC as they stand right now. But I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going for a point spread here. I'm going for the total. And I'm telling you right now, this game is screaming to me, defense, defense, defense. The Eagles are coming off of a hard loss where they are going to look to play punch you in the mouth. I can't say it. What's it called? Snot-nosed football. Why can't I say what I'm trying to say? Snot-nosed football. People are going to be on their ass all game long. It's going to be tough. Ribs are going to crack. Jason Kelsey's going to lead the way. And Tua Tagovailoa is not going to be able to find Tyreek Hill. The Eagles defense is going to step up here. But the Miami defense is going to step up in an even bigger way and shutting down A.J. Brown and shutting down Smith. It's going to be a hard-fought game. It's going to be a 17-10. It might be a 12-13. I don't see this going to 13-10. I don't think it's that low. But I think it's somewhere hovering in that 14-17, 14-20. I'm taking the under 51.5 for my lock.
Dude, I'm going to be honest with you. I agree with everything you just said. I feel like everybody is loving that Miami offense.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody sees the potential in the Eagles offense. And I love the Kelly Greens on Sunday Night Football in the link. And I just think that screams defense. That screams Reggie, Jerome.
Yep.
That screams Jalen Carter. Cox, Brandon Graham, Darius Slay, who should be coming back.
Hold it down.
That screams a 21-10 football game in my mind.
Thank you.
Where I was talking with guys at the Fanatic about this and like, over. You know, what they're having people on from Miami. What's the number you think the Eagles defense has to hold the Miami to stay in this football game? Screw that. We're gonna hold them to 10 points.
Yeah, they're gonna get after Tua in a way. Again, Tua's not faced a defense like this yet. That's the truth.
No. Yeah, 100%, man.
No.
I'm not scared of this offense. I'm scared of Tyreek Hill, but the rest of this team, get out of here. All right. They need to realize this Eagles defense and the defensive coordinator, who has been solid, stop playing 7 yards back on the line of scrimmage from the snap. You need to get in Tyreek's face, Jalen Waddle's face. Hit him. Don't give Tua easy slants. Let your defensive line, who's been getting pressure, but the quarterbacks are able just to get it out quick because all the corners are back. Get in their face. Don't let them get those easy throws off. Let your guys get home. And that's what's going to happen.
Let those motherfuckers know.
Yeah, but I like that pick a lot. I really do.
So is this an earthquake on the locks?
No.
Okay.
No, but
that would have been crazy.
In between lock picks here, the weather girl does hit us up. She does let us know. She goes one of these 425 games for an anytime touchdown score, who has been money on the year, 2-1 on the year. Brees Hall last week. She's going Taylor Swift's boyfriend, Travis Kelce, touchdown.
Love that. Anytime.
Minus 130. You know, a little bit of a chalky pick, but you got to respect it as long as it hits. As long as it hits.
Hey,
money.
One of the things that I would say is, and we don't call them anytime touchdowns on the show. We call them what? Anytime tugs. And he loves holding it down with a tug. You know, he's getting that rub and tug, if you know what I'm saying. All right, hold it down. What's your lock here, baby?
My lock, we're going to go Tampa Bay 2.5.
What a sneaky dog pick, dude. Wow. Plus the 2.5.
No, they're favored.
Oh, they're favored. Never mind. I'm sorry. Yeah. Minus 2.5. They're at home?
Yeah, they're at home.
Like it.
Coming off a tough loss against the Detroit Lions. I just don't believe in this Falcons team. I believe coach. What?
Yeah. Can I just say something? I think that's got to go in the parlay, this pick that you just put in. I like that pick.
I like it. I think that they have a solid squad. I think their defense is good. I think Baker has been good enough. I think that the Falcons need to get off of Desmond Ridder. You gave the kid a shot. You're trying to develop him. But they have a good enough team to make some noise in that AFC South. And they're just not – they're shooting themselves in the foot having him in there. Yeah. They need Heineke. They need Kirk Cousins or somebody else to come in. And because they do have the talent to make some noise. No, but they just continually letting this kid shoot themselves in the foot left and right. And it's going to happen again here. I like Tampa Bay easily.
I love it, dude. That's our first pick in the parlay. We're on to the parlay. We didn't talk at all. Monday Night Football. 49ers -7. Solid number 7. No halves against the Vikings on the road. Over under 44.5. What's our read here, bro? I think we got to throw this into the parlay.
Their offense is banged up. We don't really know. McCaffrey will probably play. Debo, probably. Trent Williams, probably. So if those guys are all playing, I like San Fran with the 7, coming off a loss. Where Minnesota needs this win, though.
See, that's why I like the over.
All right, I think the over. I'd rather take the over. Time overs and unders are brutal this year. The under is hitting at a stupid clip. I've ranted about it beginning of the year. But hey, hashtag they're due.
They're
just
due.
Like hashtag the HTP is due. Because guess what? This time last year, it hit for the first time. And you better be riding this one because we're hitting, baby. We're hitting. So, we'll take the 44. I like it.
Over 44, 49ers, Vikes. All right.
What was the earthquake? We'll definitely.
The Browns. Yeah, Browns. Got to throw them in there. And then, I don't know, brother. What do we think for that last one?
Do we take the under 51? I just hate betting unders though.
Yeah, it's my lock. I don't know.
Uh,
I like that. I like either that Bears. I either like that Bears +3 or I like that Giants +2.5.
oh, ugly.
Two brutal games.
It's ugly.
Do we go?
Bills 8.5?
No,
No.
too big of a spread. Um, Over in the Washington Giants game, 39.
Okay.
Like that.
Yeah, talk me into it a little more.
I mean, I don't know. I think that Sam Howell's got to make some big throws. I don't think the Giants defense has too big they've shown that they allow points left and right.
I think Danny's needs to prove that he can move the ball.
And Danny needs to prove that he can move the ball. That's right, dude. That's the icing on the cake. He's got such a fire under his ass. He's got to do it without Saquon.
All right. 15 to win 180. I like it.
15 to win 180 over 39. Wash v NYG. And what'd you say it was?
15 to win 180.
Nice. All right, dude. What a show.
Plus 1,202.
2-hour show, God.
Hey, we've been
good to be back
at the bit here. We had to let it all loose. The episodes will be tightened up moving forward, or maybe not. Let us know what you prefer. All right. Drop a comment. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter. Subscribe to the YouTube. Let us know what you think. We love you guys. Follow us. Hit the parlay with us. Let us know when you're riding and when we cash.
250 followers on the Instagram by World Series. Trilly and I shoot the porn. We post it. Good night.
215. Go Birds.
Good night. Go Raven.